So it is NCLT, and the chapter is NCLT and NCLT. That is, one is National Company Law Tribunal, National Company Law Tribunal, and other one is National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. Appellate. So what we do actually, these are all tribunals. Okay, tribunals is like a court. So what is the difference between court and tribunal? Can you tell me? Court is a broader concept. Okay, like under court, you can solve any type of problem in a court. Okay, like if you're having any type of civil problem, you can go. Trespass, you can go. Criminal, you can go. Or any type of any property related factor, you can go. Anything you can go to court. But tribunal is also like a court, but tribunal is formed to handle a small matter. I means tribunal is usually formed to handle a small matter, like a specific matter also you can say. For example, you are having some dispute relating to environment. Okay, so for that what they will do now, they will form a tribunal, and this tribunal is going to handle only the dispute relating to environment. So that tribunal is having a different name, green tribunal. Green. Okay, here also, if you are having any dispute relating to company law in the company or corporate, then the tribunal is NCLT is there. They formed it, NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal. You will go to them with your dispute, and they are going to solve. They are having the jurisdiction to solve your dispute first. Got it? So tribunal is something which takes care or which used to handle the specific matter, not all. Okay, but court handles everything. So we called it in one line, like all tribunals are court, but court is not a tribunal. Got it? Now, now whenever you are having any dispute relating to company law, we usually go to whom? NCLT first, that is National Company Law Tribunal. Got it? So this tribunal is going to take care your problems, dispute. They are going to decide something and they are going to finally give you an order. Now, whenever you are not satisfied with this order, obviously there will be some appellate body for you to appeal. So whenever you are not satisfied with this order or you became aggrieved, then what you can do? With this order, you can appeal to NCLAT, that is a National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. So what they do specifically? National Law National Company Law Appellate Tribunal used to take all those appeal from you people who became aggrieved with the order of National Company Law Tribunal. Got it? And today we are going to discuss about these two body. One is National Company Law Tribunal, another is Appellate Tribunal. First, some of the definitions are coming, like not definitions basically. These are body, right? NCLT or NCLAT. Whenever you are going to enter into a tribunal, okay, with your company law dispute, if anyone says you, like, please meet with the chairman. So, chairman under this chapter means it's a chairman of appellate tribunal. That is, okay. So, in appellate tribunal, there is chairman, okay. In NCLT, there is no chairman. That's why whenever you will hear the term chairman under this tribunal, you have to understand it is an applied definition that chairman means the chairman of the appellate tribunal. That means National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. Okay. Now, what do you mean by judicial member? Now, before explaining all these things, let me tell you, usually these tribunals, this NCLT, NCLAT, this tribunal consists chairperson, judicial member, normal member, president, technical members. Okay. Now, who are these people actually? Chairman of tribunal means it's a chairman of appellate tribunal, National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. Now, judicial member can be there, means a member either of NCLT or NCLAT. Got it? Now, these people means judicial member is there in both NCLT as well as NCLAT, and usually whoever will be the president or the chairperson of these, they are going to appoint from out of these judicial member only. Got it? They are going to hire or appoint chairperson or president from judicial member only. So this judicial member actually includes chairperson or president. Got it? Now, if we call like that, key members of tribunal, members of NCLT or members of NCLAT, what do you mean by this member under this chapter? Here the member means either it's a judicial member or it's a technical member. Got it? Of either NCLT or NCLAT. Got it? President, I already said ki whenever you are going to select a president, you are going to select the president from whom? From these judicial members only. President and chairperson. Okay. So these are some examples, means definitions or things like technical members means technical members are also the member of NCLT as well as NCLAT. So either tribunal or appellate tribunal, both should have the technical members. So technical members usually we called it like someone from legal service, or you are practicing chartered accountant firm. You are a chartered accountant and practicing chartered accountant, or a cost accountant practicing cost accountant. So under NCLT, NCLAT, these people are the technical members. Clear about these small terms? What's the meaning of this term?
Yeah, ma'am.
And these, whatever I explained here, this is coming under section 407. Some definitions of the term. Next come to section 408. Constitution of NCLT. Constitution of NCLT. Now, NCLT means National Company Law Tribunal. It is usually constituted by central government. Okay. What central government will do? Central government is going to constitute a NCLT, and which usually consist some members, and these members means already we have discussed here, like it will consist either president, judicial members, technical members. Okay. So what they are going to do? National Company Law Tribunal is constituted by central government, which consists members like president, judicial member, technical member. And why this is formed by the central government? What is the objective? The objective is NCLT is going to handle all the proceedings relating to arbitration, compromise, arrangement, reconstruction, and other disputes. Okay. Usually, remember, your authority is NCLT. If you are facing any type of dispute relating to company law, first you have to go to NCLT. If you are not satisfied with the order of NCLT, second you can appeal to NCLAT, that is National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. Again, the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal is going to review your case and they are going to give you some order again. Again, if you are aggrieved, then final appeal lies to Supreme Court. This is the structure of company disputes. Got it. In normal case, what? Normally in our means it's not a civil or company law. Normal case, what? We can go to the district court. If we are not satisfied with the district court, we can go to high court. If you are not satisfied with high court, we can finally go to Supreme Court. But here under company law things, if any dispute is there relating to company law, first we will visit to NCLT. If we are not satisfied LAT, then final always appeal lies on Supreme Court. Clear? So this is 408. Come to section 409. 409 is will tell about the qualification of president and members of tribunal. So whatever composition we have discussed here, like chairperson, judicial member, technical member. So what qualification or eligibility is required to appoint this person or to qualify for the appointment as a judicial member or as a technical member like this? First, let us explain about president. So to become a president of tribunal, the person must be a judge of high court. Judge of high court for at least 5 years. Okay. So to get this position of president, you must be a judge, or you once upon a time you did advocacy in a high court, or you were a judge in a high court for at least 5 years, then only you can apply for this position, tribunal president. Second, about judicial member. Who can apply for this position, judicial member? Either any person is or has been a judge of high court, or is means currently he is a judge, okay, of a high court, or else he has been, before he were a judge, currently not, retired. That is also okay. But is or has been a judge of high court. Next is or has been district judge for at least 5 years. So at least 5 years you have worked as a judge in a district court or a district court for at least 5 years. Next, third point. Has for at least 10 years been an advocate of a court. So at least you should practice as an advocate in a court. You should do the advocacy in a court for at least 10 years. Okay. Or else you are a judge for at least 5 years in a district court, or you are a judge, or you were a judge in a high court before. Then only you can apply for this position. Like you can apply as a judicial member. You wants to work as a judicial member in a NCLT or NCLT, that is in a tribunal. NCLT. This is only tribunal, not appellate. So in NCLT. So these are the qualification to become a president and members of tribunal in NCLT. Clear about president and judicial member? Only
Yeah, ma'am.
to remember. Next is about technical member. Now to become a technical member, at least 15 years you must be a member of Indian Corporate Law Service. Okay, you must act as a member. At least 15 years must act as a member of Indian Corporate Law Service or Indian Legal Service Okay. Now, out of these total 15 years, at least 3 years, your pay scale, you should get, your pay scale should be of Joint Secretary of Government of India or any other equivalent post. This is the first condition. So to become a technical member, at least 15 years, you should act as a member of Indian Corporate Law Service or Indian Legal Service. And out of this 15 years, at least 3 years, you should draw the scale, your salary or your pay scale should be of Joint Secretary of Government's pay scale. Means your level should be same like Joint Secretary of Government of India or other equivalent post. Or currently you are practicing or you were practiced, you has been in practice as a chartered accountant for at least 15 years. This is the second clause. Or now you can remember same is or has been practiced same as a cost accountant. Only change the professional's name. Cost accountant for at least 15 years. And fourthly also same as company secretary. So all of this professional, if you are practicing for at least 15 years, then also you can apply for this post. Got it up to this?
Yeah, ma'am.
Finally, whoever will be selected for this post, that person should have the ability, integrity. These are all common terms for all members in law, and must have a special knowledge and experience of 15 years in law, industrial finance, industrial management, or administration, or else industrial reconstruction, investment accountancy, labor, or other you can say winding up, whatever you know about company law, like revival or rehabilitation. Now this is not there. Now we actually, you need the special knowledge about insolvency or any other affairs of the company, etc. Okay. So first of all, these criteria you have to fulfill, like this one or two or three or four, and such person should have the ability, integrity, and special knowledge and experience of 15 years, and they should have the special knowledge on this area. Then only you can apply for the position of technical member. Okay. And also, other than this, point number 5, you just add it. At least you work for at least 5 years as a presiding officer of a labor court or tribunal or appellate tribunal. Then also you can apply for this post. Got it? So this, whatever we have read till now, it's all about tribunal, like tribunal constitutions, NCLT, not LAT. Okay, how you are going to constitute NCLT? Now to become the president, judicial member, or technical member of the tribunal, that is NCLT, what are the qualification is required? Please. Now come to next section. 4.10. 4.10 is about how to constitute NCLAT. What does that mean? Appellate tribunal. How you are going to constitute an appellate tribunal. That is coming under 4.10. This is also like same. It is constituted by central government, and appellate tribunal is known as National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, which will consist chairperson, some members of, like, members means, you know, it may be judicial member, it may be technical member. But whatever member will be there in NCLAT, that is appellate tribunal, it should not exceed 11. Okay. And this is LAT. Okay. But in case of NCLT, there is no such limitation was there, like how many you can take members. That is written like that, means the government will feel fits. If the government feel fits, it is 11 or more than 11, it's okay. But in NCLT, it is written in the company law that whatever chairman's members you will take, it may be judicial member, technical member, and chairperson is only there in appellate tribunal. All total, it should not exceed 11. Got it? So this is about constitution of appellate tribunal. Now come to section 4.11, which is about the qualification of chairperson and members of appellate tribunal. Now first, chairperson means chairperson. In the definition itself it is written chairperson of appellate tribunal, because in normal tribunal, that is NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal, usually there is no chairperson. Okay, so there is only the president is there, but in appellate tribunal chairperson is there. Now here what happens, what is the qualification of such chairperson of NCLAT, that is appellate tribunal? Either he is the judge or has been a judge of Supreme Court, is or has been. This is a common thing. Either a judge of Supreme Court or Chief Justice of India. Sorry, Chief Justice of High Court, India. So chairperson's qualification must be either he is or has been a judge of Supreme Court, or else Chief Justice of High Court. Okay. Next, come to judicial member. Members are of two types, judicial and technical. Judicial members, same, is or has been. Either judge of High Court or judicial member of tribunal, that is NCLT, for 5 years. Got it? Then, like before, normal tribunal, if you are a judicial member of NCLT for 5 years, after that you can apply to work as a judicial member in NCLAT. Got it? So you should have some experience there first in the tribunal. Then only you will get the chance in appellate tribunal. Next is, third one is technical members. Technical members is, you can say, whatever we have discussed here, na, just copy paste this one. It must be a person of ability, integrity, special knowledge, and having must have the special knowledge on this area. Only the experience number will change. Here, to become a technical member of NCLAT, your experience should not less than 25 years. Okay, you should have experience not less than 25 years in all those special areas what we discussed, like law, finance, industrial management, administration, reconstruction, everything. Okay. Next, this is to 411. Now come to section 412. Section 412 is telling 412 about the selection of members of tribunal and appellate tribunal. Okay. So how you are going to select the members of tribunal and appellate tribunal? So what is the system actually? As per 414, there is a selection committee. Okay, there will be a selection committee. And this selection committee, the members of tribunal, actually usually means all these members of tribunal and appellate tribunal is going to be appointed only on recommendation of a selection committee. Okay. So the selection committee is going to recommend, like in a high court or Supreme Court, there are many judges, right? Or district court, there are many judges, many advocates are there. But if everyone is applying, then whom to select? Who is going to select? That person is also must be knowledgeable, right? The person we selected. So that's why they formed a selection committee. This selection committee is going to select, and they are going to recommend actually whom to select as a member of tribunal and appellate tribunal. Got it? Who will be the chairperson? Like how they are going to select, like either I said like Chief Justice of India or his nominee as a chairperson they have appointed, or senior judge of Supreme Court or a Chief Justice of High Court, they are acting as a member. So whoever will act as a member, all this recommendation will be given by selection committee. Got it? Now, so basically, this selection committee consists, this is very important. This selection committee consists of very much means knowledgeable people in this selection committee actually. So this selection committee consists actually Chief Justice of India, next is, or Chief Justice of India is very busy, you know, then Chief Justice of India can give nominee for him who will speak on behalf of him. Got it? This will also consist senior judge of Supreme Court or Chief Justice of High Court. Next is MCA, you know, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. One secretary will be there in this committee from MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Next is Ministry of Labor and Justice. From this ministry, one secretary will be there. One secretary will be there. And from the Ministry of Finance, one secretary will be there. Okay. So these people will be there in the selection committee, and these people are going to recommend who will become the member of NCLT and NCLAT. So this is about selection. So this is not actually in the hand of central government, though it is formed by central government, but all this selection of members is in the hand of selection committee, which consists these people: Chief Justice of India, Senior Judge of Supreme Court, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. One secretary will come. One secretary will come from Ministry of Law and Justice, other in Ministry of Finance. Next is 413. Section 413 is about terms of office of President, Chairperson, and other members. Okay, so actually basically their term is like president or chairperson. Their tenure term of office is actually 5 years. First point is president and other members of tribunal. First of all, they will hold their office for 5 years. Okay. After completion of 5 years, if they are eligible, then again for reappointment, if they got if they are reappointed, then they will be reappointed for another 5 years. Got it? In this way, they will hold their terms of office. They will hold their office. Got it? In case of president and other members of tribunal, their terms of tenure is 5 years, and after that, yes, they are eligible to reappoint, and they will be reappointed for another 5 years if the selection committee is okay with that, with their work and all. Got it? Next is president, in case of president, who will hold office, na? At least he can hold office till 67 years of age. His retirement is in 67 years. And in case of other members means what? Judicial or technical, any one. For them, the age is until 65 years, they can hold their position. So president 67 and other members 65. Clear?
Yeah, ma'am.
This much only. And yes, appellate tribunal also same thing. Okay, like 5 years only, 10 years. This is about tribunal, I said. Whether it's a tribunal or appellate tribunal, for both only they will hold office for consecutive 5 years. After that, reappointment is allowed for another 5 years. Next, section 414. This is about salary, allowances, and other terms and conditions of service of members. Got it. So here also nothing is mentioned in the act. They are said like that who the people is going to select them, na? Salary, allowance, other terms and condition. It is also they are going to get as prescribed actually, as may be prescribed. So maybe central government with consultation with the selection committee, they are going to fix their salary allowances and they are going to notify in the official gazette. Accordingly, they will get their salary of allowances and what will be their terms of condition or change in terms of terms and condition, whatever it is. So usually it is as may be prescribed. So who will prescribe? Central government with consultation with the higher authority, that is selection committee and all. That's all. Next is section 415. 415 is acting president and chairperson of tribunal or appellate tribunal, NCLAT. Got it? So you know, like whoever person will be appointed or the person who got appointed as a president or selected as a president or chairperson. So president of tribunal, chairperson of appellate tribunal. Out of members, judicial and technical, whoever members will be selected as a president or chairperson, such person is eligible to continue their position, hold their position till their death, resignation, or absence, etc. Permanently, like that. So it is said like that ki other than any other reason, like for example, you know, just now we have explained about their age limit. Okay, so till their age and before that they cannot be removed until in the event of death or they resigned or they are permanently absent from their position. Other than this reason, they will act as a president and chairperson of tribunal and appellate tribunal under section 415. Clear? Next is section 416. 416 was about resignation of members. So whoever members are there in the tribunal or appellate tribunal, so members are basically are of two types, judicial member and other one is technical members. Got it. Now, yes, if they are not satisfied in their work, they can resign. They are allowed to resign. So whom they are going to submit their resignation letter? They are going to give their resignation letter to the central government as per 416. Clear? Now come to next. Section 417. 417 is about removal of members. So yes, the members were appointed by the selection committees and all, selection committee. So yes, if they do anything wrong, they can be removed from their position. So when they can be removed from their position, members, see, it is almost same like whatever we have read in disqualification under law, same term we will read again. Yes, they can be removed in case they become insolvent or declared as insolvent, or else if they has been convicted for an offense and by the convicted for an offense in the opinion of CG, you can say, in the opinion of central government, or else if they are physically or mentally incapable, or else if they are having any type of if they are affecting the prejudicial means prejudice means detrimental, may cause harm. If they are having any,
Yeah.
if they are affecting prejudicial in the function of president or chairperson or other members, then also if they are acting prejudicially, that means their intention is to cause harm to the act of others, that is also a ground for removal. Okay, and if they are going against public policy. So these are the ground for removal if they do any of these. Other than this, so other things are there, fraud, coercion, okay, or any other fraudulent activity. Those are to there normal for everyone, but these are under in these cases it is under 417. Members will be removed from the tribunal or the appellate tribunal.
Okay.
And also you can add all those things, moral turpitude, unsound mind, all those are same in law, full disqualification, unsound mind, all this. And yes, what one more line you just see, whenever they will be removed. Now who used to remove them? Central government will consult with Supreme Court and will regulate or will start the inquiry against all those members who have done all these things. And if they are proved wrong, then they will be removed. Clear? Next is 418. It's all about staff of tribunal and appellate tribunal. So here also it's the same thing, like central government, they are going to consult with NCLT and NCLAT, and central government, after consultation with NCLT and NCLAT, will provide officers, staff, okay, who will work in the NCLT and NCLT. Got it? And who is going to, and what type of work these officers and staff of NCLT and NCLT will do? They will actually function under the superintendents and control. Whatever work they will do, they will perform or they will act as per direction of president or chairperson or members. Got it? So, you know, those are the main people sitting there, all those big people like chairperson, president, judicial members or technical members. And these are also coming under them, all those clerical staffs and officers. These people will work as per the direction of either president or chairperson or members of NCLT and NCLAT. Next is 419, benches of tribunal. Now, what is bench? You know, in a court, there is a bench concept. Why? In a bench, all those jurists will sit and they will discuss. Because, you know, whenever they are taking a decision on a specific matter, one sole decision is not very much powerful, right? So, they take together. So, 3-4 judge will sit and they will discuss about this matter. So, majority, whoever will tell for that, they will declare or they will make it as an order or judgment like that. They will declare that. Got it? So, because though there, for example, in a case of criminal, that death penalty or life imprisonment, so one person decision is not much valuable, right? So I don't know whether what decision I'm taking either correct or wrong. So I need more knowledgeable person to discuss with. That's why this bench concept is normally there in the court, and also in tribunal it's there. So bench of tribunals means what? In the tribunal, the benches are there. There are more than one judges will be sitting and they will discuss together about a specific matter before giving order. That is actually bench. Now, actually, there is a principal bench, main bench we called it. Bench. Under that, a small other benches can also be there. Okay. Now, it's on the designation basis. The principal means all higher designated people will sit there, like Chief Justice of India, Supreme Court judges and all. In the lower benches, like judges of High Court, all those people will sit. Got it? Now, usually, tribunal's principal bench usually is there in Delhi, New Delhi. And such bench, principal bench, will be having 2 members. Okay, one bench will have 2 members, and single member, 2 members means one member. They may also function as a bench in certain cases also. Like afterwards, whatever case will come, they will act together. Both of them will act as a bench. If I am single a judge, then I will be known as judge. But whenever we 2-3 judges are there and taking a decision on a same matter or same cases, then we never called it it's a judge. We called it it's a bench. Got it? Now this is a thing. Principal bench is there in Delhi only. Other benches, whatever other benches will be formed, that is as per afterwards it will be decided actually. But no fixed is there. But principal bench is there in Delhi itself. That is in the Supreme Court, I think. Now this is principal. Usually principal benches consist 2 members. Sometimes tribunal form special benches also to solve special cases. Okay, open and shut case, some special rarest cases, you have to take decision on a specific matter. It's a rarest case or special case. In such cases, they will form a special bench, and
Huh?
such special bench is going to consist 3 or more members. Got it. And usually special bench is formed for restructure, or you can say rehabilitation of a company, like company is going to become sick, how to save that company. You have to prepare a special bench to take a decision. But normally, in principal bench, there are 2 members is enough. Got it? But if you are forming any special bench, that case only 3 or more members can be there. So this is all about benches of tribunal. Got it? Yes, one amendment is there relating to this. One amendment came, Companies Amendment Act 2015. They said in case of winding up, in case CLT means in case they are constituting the bench or they are preparing the bench to take decision on, about this winding up, okay, then 2 benches enough for that. You need to take 3 bench, means 3 members in a bench. Okay. So in this amendment, it is said if the case is relating to winding up, then in case if you are forming the bench to take decision, then 2 member bench is sufficient for that. Next is section 420. Order of tribunal. Tribunal means what? Tribunal means they are actually formed to solve your dispute. With your dispute, you are going to tribunal. That is NCLT. So yes, after reviewing case, they are definitely will pass an order. So whatever order will be passed by National Company Law Tribunal, that is the order of tribunal. In case any mistake is made in the order, then tribunal is having 2 years time to mistake within 2 years from the date of order. Tribunal is going to order. The copy of such order must be sent to the concerned parties of the tribunal. Order of tribunal means when the National Company Law Tribunal gives the order, that is order of tribunal. In case if there is a mistake inside the order, the National Company Law can rectify that mistakes in the order within 2 years from the passing order, and such order copy must be given to the concerned parties. This is as per 420.
Okay.
Section 20, which is about appeal from order of tribunal. Appeal from order of tribunal. So if you know, like whenever the NCLT is giving you an order and you are not satisfied with this order of NCLT, then whom you can appeal? See, under section 4, 45 days.
Okay.
Pardon? This is a thing. So if you are not satisfied with the order of NCLT, you can file an appeal with NCLT within 45 days of receiving the order from NCLT. Next section is 422, which is expeditious disposal tribunal or appellate tribunal. So expeditious disposal of case means what? They are sitting there just to take your case, NCLT or NCLT. Okay. Now you will file an appeal. You will file a fresh case before NCLT. And in case if you are not satisfied with the order of this case, then you will file an appeal before NCLT. Now on receipt of these applications, if the NCLT or NCLT dispose your case, dispose means set aside. They don't take into the consideration. If they simply set aside your case, in such cases what happened? It actually says like that, they can do it. Okay. It means they are having, being a tribunal, NCLT and NCLT is having right to dispose your case if they feels like that this case is having no logic. You are simply filing the case, but it's having no logic or it's having no nothing, means they are feeling like that, so they can simply dispose of or they can set aside. But yes, they are having time limit. Whenever you are going to apply before them, within 3 months, either they are going to dispose your case or else they are going to accept your case. Got it? This is the thing. So this is telling like that at least 3 months you have to check. Before that, don't do any type of inquiry. So they are having 3 months in their hand. Either they are going to set aside your case or else they will accept your case and will start the proceedings. Next is section 423, which is appeal to Supreme Court. So already we discussed, first we will go to NCLT. They will give order. And if I am not satisfied with this order, I will go with this order to whom? NCLAT. Now NCLAT will give another order. After reviewing this order, they will give another order. Now again, if I am aggrieved or not satisfied with this order, finally I can appeal to Supreme Court. And within how many days? Within 60 days actually. Within 60 days from the date of receiving the order from appellate tribunal. Receiving the order from appellate tribunal. Got it? So this is as per 423. Next come to section 424. 424 is procedure before NCLT and NCLAT. Now, some you have to remember, whenever you will go to NCLT or NCLAT with your dispute, what is the procedure they are going to follow? First point is NCLT and NCLAT are not bound to follow Code of Civil Procedure, 1908. This is the first one. So we know for everything, we usually, it is for civil cases, usually it is, if you are going to court, it is going to be solved through this procedure only, CPC, that is Code of Civil Procedure. But NCLT and NCLT, though company law is a civil case only, but still this tribunal is not going to follow the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. They are going to be guided, they will be guided by the principle of natural justice. Principles of natural justice. So they will make their rules on the basis of natural justice. What is right, what is wrong, they are going to determine. Got it? So actually they are going to regulate their own procedure. Okay, means this is the power of NCLT and NCLT, that under section 424 it is written like they are not going to, or they are not bound to follow the Code of Civil Procedure. They can make their own procedure and rules how they are going to adjudicate these cases, and they are completely going to do all these things on the basis of principle of natural justice. Okay, what is correct, what is wrong, they will apply their brain, not a rule or any act. Next is 425. Power to punish for contempt. Now, think a person who is convicted under a civil procedure, means civil things, means you are feeling like that person has done the wrong. For that, NCLT and NCLT, whether they are having the jurisdiction or power to punish those people. Got it? Now, like a high court. For example, if you are going to high court, if you are doing wrong, so high court will impose the punishment or penalty on you, right? So whether NCLT and NCLT is having that power like high court. So section 425, NCLT and NCLT is having power to punish for contempt, same as high court. Same provision they will follow. Like high court punish the criminals actually, as per section 425. Got it? So same procedure they are going to follow like high court. And yes, there is an act called, name is Contempt of Courts Act. So this act, it is written like what are the procedure to give the punishment. So this usually followed by courts, but yes, NCLT and NCLT is also having power to follow the same punishment. Next is 4.6. Delegation of powers. By delegation of powers, whatever powers they are having, whether they can delegate to any other person or not. Okay. So this is actually, it provides like that. Yes, they can do it. NCLT or NCAT, they may give a general or special type of order and may authorize any other officers or employees and can delegate some of the powers to them to do some work because they don't do every work in their own hand, right? So I can delegate certain power. For example, if people are working under me, so I am giving one of my power to you and I'm telling you, authorizing you, like, please go to this company and do the inquiry on behalf of me. So this means what? Instead, I am not going personally, but I am sending my people only. So this is delegation of power. So NCLT and NCLAT also can give a special order or general order to their employees or officers and can delegate some of their powers to them for doing that particular work. That is under section 426. Next is section 427. 427. Members are NCLT and all going forward. Okay. So they are going to be treated as public. One of Indian Penal Code. President, chairperson, member, officer are working in a NCLT or NCLAT, they will be treated as a public servant. Whoever members, employees, whatever name we have read, members means it includes judicial member or technical members. Chairperson, president, chairperson in case of appellate, president in case of only tribunal. Or you can say employees, officers, whoever is there, they should, whatever work they are going to do, they will do in good faith. Okay. If they don't do their act in good faith, then for that, protection is there, protection is available as per section 428. So if they do anything fraudulent activity and for that anyone is facing loss, then they are liable to pay loss, damage for the same. Damage amount for the same. So whoever people are working, like it may be chairperson, it may be member, it may be employee of anyone, they should work in good faith. And if they don't do work in good faith, protection is there again for them. That is, whatever fraudulent activity they will do, or if they are aggrieved there, then yes, loss and damage will be claimed from them. That is 428. Next, 429. Power to seek assistance of Chief Metropolitan Magistrate. So now, this tribunal, okay, NCLT, this section actually, this 429 actually empowers the tribunals, NCLT, like whenever they needs to take some assistance, like help, if they wants to take any help, second opinion, to take some decision, yes, as per section 429, they can take the assistance from these Chief Metropolitan Magistrate. Okay, so not only Chief Metropolitan Magistrate, they can take assistance from Chief Metropolitan Magistrate. They can take help from Chief Judicial Magistrate. or else they can also take help from the district collector. Okay, so in case if they need any urgent information or they need some help, they, as per section 4 to 9, they can seek assistance from them, these people. This power they are having under section 4 to 9. Section 430 is telling civil court is having no jurisdiction to entertain any suit or proceedings of NCLT or NCLAT. So whatever cases you are filing before NCLT and NCLAT, civil court personally is having no jurisdiction to handle those cases. So they are having no jurisdiction at all as per section 430 to entertain those suit or proceedings of NCLT and NCLAT. Next is section 431. Vacancy in tribunal or appellate tribunal. If there is any vacancy in tribunal or appellate tribunal, this is not going to invalidate any proceedings. Got it? So for example, think there is your NCLT or NCLAT. Now in NCLAT, all total thing 11 members are there. So during this time, 2-3 cases are going on. Now suddenly, out of 10 members, 2 members resigned. So how many members are there? 9 members. So as per section 431, it is said like that, if in case any vacancy arise in NCLT or NCLAT, whatever cases or proceedings is going on, this is not going to affect this. It will continue like that. Got it? So in case there is a vacancy is there in tribunal or appellate tribunal, this is not going to invalidate any type of proceedings already is going on under those tribunals.
Okay.
Next is section 432. Right to legal representation. That means who can appear before tribunal and appellate tribunal. That means okay, your company is there. So some disputes from your company who is eligible to appear before tribunal. So as per 432, it is said like that either chartered accountant or company secretary or legal practitioner of the company can only appear before the tribunal. Okay. No other officers or employees are having that eligibility to appear before the tribunal. 433 is about limitation. What do you mean by the term limitation? Just we say na like that ki from getting the order, whenever you are getting some order in hand, from that date within 45 days you have to appeal before appellate tribunal. Now this 45 days, from where we get this days? It is actually as per Limitation Act. There is a Limitation Act. In this act, all those time period is mentioned. Like for example, today some crime happened. within how many time period or within how many days you have to do the FIR. It is mandatory. After that, no one will take your FIR. This is limitation. So these days, like today we are doing anything, we are taking loan, within 30 days we have to file with ROC. So this 30 days, who fixed it? As per Limitation Act, it is there. Got it? So here also, within how many days we will go to NCLT or NCLT, or within how many days they are going to deal our case, all those limitation is going, they are going to follow as per Limitation Act 1963. Only this. So Limitation Act 1963 is applicable here.
Okay.
Okay. And lastly, last section is section 434, which is about transfer of certain pending cases. So transfer of certain pending cases. This section, what they say like that, this is like that key. Sometimes what happens now, NCLT and NCLT is there. Now think continuously some cases are coming to them and it's there a pending, status is pending. They are not taking care. Got it? So some pending cases, whatever is there before NCLT or NCLT, sometimes these pending cases, they can transfer to other high courts, okay, or district courts to take care. So maybe some arrangement, reconstruction related matter is pending here, maybe due to lack of knowledge, lack of person, or they are having lot of things in queue. Got it? So many reasons can be there and the party is having urgency. In such cases, under section 434, they are having that right to transfer those certain pending cases to high court or district court. That they can do so means what they do now. For example, you are the party. Got it? So you are repeatedly going to them. First you went to NCLT, then again you went to NCLT, then also you are sitting like that only. The case, no progress is there in your case. Got it? If there is a repetitive things like that is still pending, then what you can do? Within 60 days, you can go to High Court and District Court and appeal there. In such cases, what they will do now? They will transfer those cases from these tribunal to them. And they will take care. Got it? Because this is a special case, like maybe some causes are there, still those are pending years by years. Now what to do? I need justice, that's all. So in such cases, I can go to High Court and District Court. Then what they will do, they will simply transfer those cases from tribunal, NCLT and NCLT to them and they will take care of those.